And that sound is very famous. It's called the devil's interval. In today's episode of Harmony for the General Public, I want to share with you a work that I composed at the age of 16 or 17 called The Sun Also Rises. I composed it at Walnut Hill in high school. It was my first, probably my third or fourth piece ever composed, but my first string quartet. All right, so the ending section of The Sun Also Rises sounds like this on piano. Okay, and this chord is very dissonant, okay? Now, I've explained dissonance in other videos, but just think of it as a disagreement between two notes, okay? So let's listen to the violin 1 and violin 2. As opposed to, that's sharp, it's brittle, right? Let's listen to the bottom, the cello and the viola. As opposed to, okay, and that's what I wrote. I have dissonance in the top and at the bottom. Now notice the distance between the two dissonant notes. So for example, the cello and the viola. Okay, we call that a seventh. Now I've gone into much more detail about how to measure distance in music in a video series called Steps and Leaps on the What the Fugue channel. So go and check it out. But basically, you know, when we count notes in music, we count the starting notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and notice the top voice. Okay, that distance is a seventh. So a seventh is typically a dissonant interval in classical music. What I just played is the distance between the cello and the violin 2. Notice how they agree together. And so what we call this is a consonance. So we have some dissonance. But amidst this sea of dissonance, we have consonance. Now, with dissonance, there's different types. We said there's a seventh was the interval. But with consonance, there's a couple that are very important to point out. And the first is the perfect fifth. This is the sound of the perfect fifth. Now, I just played it in a higher, so they're closer together, but still. And there's a feeling of absolute, like this is the end of times or the beginning of times, right? Just like it's very pure. I don't expect that you will have mastered that concept of the perfect fifth yet, but it is so built into everything in harmony, especially chords, minor, major, tonic and dominant. It is so built in. So the perfect fifth. Don't worry why it's called perfect. We'll get to that in another video. The last thing I'd like to show is another dissonance in this chord. Listen to the outer notes. So from the cello to the top voice, which is the violin 1, That's also dissonance. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transpose the cello up a couple octaves so that they're more tightly spaced so you can hear it a little bit better. This is the cello note, but just transposed instead of here. I put it here. And that sound is very famous. It's called the devil's interval in certain traditions, but the correct term is the tritone. So in this part of the Sun Also Rises, for me, it feels like it's like someone's like, there's like, you know, you're walking through water, but there's like, you have cuts, and it's like, but you're determined to get to the end, and you will get to the end, but there's definitely a feeling of kind of violence, like there's like thorns and, yeah.